The August Wilson Century Cycle, a 10-scene sampler from the epic deca-drama revealing the legacy of slavery. The 10 plays chronicle the Black experience in America in the 20th century and the decade in which each was set. As Joe Dowling, former artistic director of the Guthrie Theater, said, the saga of his plays is one of the truly great accomplishments in the theater. To jump off the program, to quote August Wilson, there are always and only two trains running. There is life and there is death. Each of us rides them both. To live life with dignity, to celebrate and accept responsibility for your presence in the world is all that can be asked of anyone. His dramatic approach, which melds the homey poetry and musicality of the blues with the indomitable, wise spirit of struggling blacks, has yielded works that are often described as operatic. Although critics have often compared the sweep of his work to opera, he saw his plays belonging to the blues, and the great speeches in his plays were more like blues solos rather than arias. Blues solos that encapsulate the whole haunted history of American slavery and its legacy. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D Train, Gem of the Ocean, play number 1, from the 1900s. It's set in 1904, and it centers on a man who has come for spiritual cleansing at the house of Aunt Esther, a mythic figure in Wilson's oeuvre, born in 1619. A haunting, ghost-like play, conjuring tales of slave ships and the black man arriving in chains in the New World. The legacy of the deported and defined, from Gem of the Ocean, pages 37 and 39. See you killing that boy over a loaf of bread ain't got nothing to do with my mother. You always try and hide behind that. I got to play the hand that was dealt to me. You look around and you see black. You look at the calendar. Slavery's over. I'm a free man. I can get up whatever time I want to in the morning. I can move all over and pick any woman I want. I can walk down the street to the store and buy anything my money will buy. There ain't nothing I can't have. I'm starting out with nothing, so I got to get a little something, a little place to start. You look and see the race you got to run is different than somebody else's. Oh, maybe it's got more hills. It's longer. But this is what I got. Now, what to do with it? I look around and I see where niggers got to eat and niggers got to sleep. I say if I had some bread, I'd be a rich man. I got some bread. In the valley of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I started selling hoe cakes off the back of a wagon. I'd cook them over the coals. I got me some beans, selling them right out of the pot. I even put a little pork in them. Police ran me off the corner, say I needed a license. It took me a while, but I got me a license. I had to pay 6 or 7 people, but I got me a license. Niggers say my bowls was too small. I got bigger bowls. Say I didn't put enough pork in the beans. I put in more pork. I got me some chickens. I charged extra for the big ones. And the people got mad. One man told me the chickens had big feet, but they didn't have big wings. I seen I was in the wrong business. Said I was going to let niggers eat on their own and give them a place to sleep. Only I didn't have no money to buy no property. Went down to the bank to borrow some money. They told me I needed some collateral. Say you need something to borrow money again. I say, all right, I'll get me some collateral. I opened up me a gambling joint in the back of the barber shop. Sold whiskey. The police closed it down. I had to put some bullet holes in a couple of niggers, and the police arrested me. Put me on the county farm. I had to bust a couple of niggers upside the head for trying to steal my food. A couple tried to escape. I caught them. They don't do nothing but make it harder on everybody else. They're out there enjoying their freedom, ducking and dodging the law, and everybody else on half rations and got to make up their work. A fellow named John Hanson started a riot. I seen that wasn't going to be nothing but bad news. I took him on 1-to-1, man-to-man. He busted my eye. That's why I can't see but so good out of my one eye. He busted my eye, but I put down the riot. They gave me a year. I did 6 months when the mayor called me in to see him, say he wanted to put me in charge of the 3rd Ward. Told me, say, you fry the little fish and send the big fish to me. They gave me a gun and a badge. I took my badge and gun and went down to the bank and laid it on the counter. Told them I wanted to borrow some money on that. There was a fellow named Harry Bryant. He had a place on Caldwell Street. He sold me. They ran him out of town. Charged me 3 times what it was worth. Took the money and ran. They tried to kill him for selling to a Negro. I say, all right, I got me a little start. Niggers got mad at me, said I must have thought I was a white man 'cause I got hold to a little something. They've been mad at me ever since. Everybody mad at me. You mad at me. It ain't about being mad at you, Caesar. You're my brother. I respect and honor that, and I always have, and I always will. But we don't owe each other any more than that. I ain't got but one sister, and I try to do right by her, and you push me away. Family is important. I know the value of family. Blood is thicker than water. It's been that way and always will be. You can't even water it down. Your mother want to turn blood into vinegar. When Uncle Jack was dying, she wouldn't even go to see him. Say he was fooling the people, being a fake blind man. She was right, but that's her brother. He deserved better than that. You can't sit in judgment over people. That's God's job. God decide who done right or wrong. Uncle Jack dying and calling for his sister, and she wouldn't even go and see him. That's the kind of mother you got. You let her run your life. Got you thinking like her. You thinking wrong and don't even know it. Many a time I tried to make up to her, but she wouldn't have it. Called me a scoundrel. But that didn't stop me from paying for her funeral. I paid for the funeral and even shed a few tears. If I'd known any prayers, I would have said them. Why? 'Cause she family. You give up on family and you ain't got nothing left. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D-Train. Play number 2, Joe Turner's Come and Gone, from the 1910s. Set in 1911, about a once captive man who travels from the South to a Pittsburgh boarding house to find his long-lost wife. The children and grandchildren of slavery grapple with a world that won't let them forget the past. The legacy of the deserted and dispossessed. From the play Joe Turner's Come and Gone, pages 87, 89 to 91. I've been watching that man for 2 weeks, and that's the closest I come to seeing him act civilized. I don't know what's between you all, Maddie, but the only thing that man needs is somebody to make him laugh. That's all you need in the world is love and laughter. That's all anybody needs, to have love in one hand and laughter in the other. The door opens, and Loomis and Zonia enter. Martha and Loomis stare at each other. "Hello, Martha." "Harold! Zonia!" "You ain't waited for me, Martha. I got out the place looking to see your face. 7 years I waited to see your face." "Harold, I've been looking for you. I wasn't but 2 months behind you when you went to my mama's and got Zonia. I've been looking for you ever since." Joe Turner let me loose, and I felt all turned around inside. I just wanted to see your face, to know that the world was still there, make sure everything's still in its place, so I could reconnect myself together. I got there, and you was gone, Martha. "Harold!" "Left my little girl motherless in the world." "I didn't leave her motherless, Harold. Reverend Tolliver wanted to move the church up north because of all the trouble the colored folks was having down there. Nobody knew what was going to happen traveling them roads. We didn't even know if we was going to make it up here or not. I left her with my mama so she'd be safe. That was better than dragging her out on the road, having to duck and hide from people. Wasn't no telling what was going to happen to us. I didn't leave her motherless in the world. I've been looking for you." I come upon Henry Thompson's place after 7 years of living in hell, and all I'm looking to do is see your face. "Harold, I didn't know if you was ever coming back. They told me Joe Turner had you, and my whole world split half in two. My whole life shattered. It was like I had poured it in a cracked jar, and it all leaked out the bottom. When it go like that, there ain't nothing you can do to put it back together. You talking about Henry Thompson's place like I'm going to be working the land by myself. How am I going to do that? You wasn't gone but 2 months, and Henry Thompson kicked me off his land, and I ain't had no place to go but to my mama's. I stayed and waited there for 5 years before I woke up one morning and decided that you was dead. Even if you weren't, you was dead to me. I wasn't going to carry you with me no more, so I killed you in my heart. I buried you, I mourned you, and then I picked up what's left and went on to make life without you. I was a young woman with life at my beckon. I couldn't drag you behind me like a sack of cotton. I'd just been waiting to look on your face to say my goodbye. That goodbye got so big at times seemed like it was going to swallow me up, like Jonah in the whale's belly. I sat up in that goodbye for 3 years. That goodbye kept me out on the road searching, not looking on women in their houses. It kept me bound up to the road. All the time that goodbye swelling up in my chest till I'm about to bust. Now that I see your face, I can say my goodbye and make my own world. Loomis takes Zonia's hand and presents her to Martha. Martha, here, go to your daughter. I tried to take care of her, see that she had something to eat, see that she was out of the elements. Whatever I know, I tried to teach her. Now she need to learn from her mother whatever you got to teach her. That way she won't be no one-sided person. Zonia, you go live with your mama. She a good woman. You go on with her and listen to her good. You my daughter, and I love you like a daughter. I hope to see you again in the world somewhere. I'll never forget you. I won't get no bigger. My bones won't get no bigger. They won't, I promise. Take me with you till we keep searching and never finding. I won't get no bigger. I promise. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D-Train. Play number 3, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, from the 1920s. It's set in 1927 Chicago, about a famous singer's struggles with her record company and band. A volatile trumpet player rebels against racism in a recording studio. It is a riveting portrayal of black rage, of the self-hate that racism breeds, and of racial exploitation. The legacy of the dismissed and disrespected, from the play Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, pages 90 to 92. I'm through with it. Try and talk to a fool. Some men's got it worse than others, this foolishness I'm talking about. Some men's is excited to be fools. That excitement is something else. I know about it. I done experienced it. It makes you feel good to be a fool. But it don't last long. It's over in a minute. Then you got to tend with the consequences. You got to tend with what comes after. That's when you wish you had learned something about it. Well, that's the best sense you made all day, talking about being a fool. That's the only sensible thing you said today, admitting you was a fool. Oh, I admits it all right. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I done been a little bit of everything. Now you're talking. You're as big a fool as they make. Gonna be a bit more things before I'm finished with it. Gonna be foolish again. But I ain't never been the same fool twice. I might be a different kind of fool, but I ain't gonna be the same fool twice. That's where we part ways. Toledo, you done been a fool about a woman? Sure I have. Same as everybody. Hell, I ain't never seen you mess with no woman. I thought them books was your woman. Oh, sure I messed with them. Done messed with a whole heap of them. And gonna mess with some more. But I ain't gonna be no fool about them. What you think? I done come into the world full grown with my head in a book? I done been young, married, got kids. I done been around and I done loved women to where you shake in your shoes just at the sight of them. Feel it all up and down your spine. I didn't know you was married. Sure, legally. I've been married legally. Got the papers and all. I done been through life, made my marks, followed some signs on the road, ignored some others. I done been all through it. I touched and been touched by it. But I ain't never been the same fool twice. That's what I can say. But you've been a fool. That's what counts. Talking about I'm a fool for asking the girl her name, and here you is one yourself. Now, I married a woman, a good woman. To this day, I can't say she wasn't a good woman. I can't say nothing bad about her. I married that woman with all the good graces and intentions of being hooked up and bound to her for the rest of my life. I was looking for her to put me in my grave. But, you see, it ain't all the time what you intentions and wishes are. She went out and joined the church, all right. Oh, there ain't nothing wrong with that. A good Christian woman going to church and want to do right by her God. Oh, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But she got up there, got to seeing them good Christian men and wondering why I ain't like that. Soon she figured she got a heathen on her hands. She figured she couldn't live like that. The church was more important than I was. So she left, packed up one day and moved out. To this day, I ain't never said another word to her. Come home one day and my house was empty. And I sat down and figured out that I was a fool not to see that she needed something that I wasn't giving her. Else she wouldn't have been up there at the church in the first place. Oh, I ain't blaming her. I just said it wasn't going to happen to me again. So yeah, Toledo, been a fool about a woman. That's part of making life. Well, yeah, I've been a fool too. Everybody done been a fool once or twice. But you see, Toledo, what you call a fool and what I call a fool is two different things. I can't see where you was being a fool for that. You ain't doing nothing foolish. You can't help what happened, and I wouldn't call you a fool for it. A fool is responsible for what happens to him. A fool caused it to happen. Like Levy, if he keeps messing with Ma's gal and his feet be out there scraping the ground, that's a fool. Ain't nothing gonna happen to Levy. Levy ain't gonna let nothing happen to him. Now I'm gonna say it again. I asked the gal her name. That's all I done. And if that's being a fool, then you're looking at the biggest fool in the world, 'cause I sure as hell asked her. You just better not let Ma see you ask her. That's what the man's trying to tell you. I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. Well, Toledo, all I gots to say is from the looks of it, from your story, I don't think life did you fair. Oh, life is fair. It's just in the taking what it gives you. Life ain't shit. You can put it in a paper bag and carry it around with you. It ain't got no balls. Now, Death got some style. Death will kick your ass and make you wish you never been born. That's how bad death is. But you can rule over life. Life ain't nothing. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D-Train. Play number 4, The Piano Lesson, from the 1930s. Set in 1936 about a family's fight over a piano that was obtained in the 19th century in exchange for 2 slaves. The dilemma is the real piano lesson, reminding us that blacks are often deprived both of the symbols of their past and of opportunity in the present. The legacy of the deprived and doubted, from the Piano Lesson, pages 41 to 43. I don't want to see them either. Hey, winning boy, come on, play some piano. You a piano player, play some piano. Lyman want to hear you. I give that piano up. That was the best thing that ever happened to me, getting rid of that piano. That piano got so big and I'm carrying it around on my back. I don't wish that on nobody. See, you think it's all fun being a recording star. Got to carrying that piano around and man, did I get slow. Got just like molasses. The world just slipping by me and I'm walking around with that piano. All right. Now, there ain't but so many places you can go. Only so many road wide enough for you and that piano. And that piano get heavier and heavier. Go to a place and they find out you play piano. The first thing they want to do is give you a drink, find you a piano, and sit you right down. And that's where you're going to be for the next 8 hours. They ain't going to let you get up. Now, the first 3 or 4 years of that is fun. You can't get enough whiskey and you can't get enough women, and you don't never get tired of playing that piano. But that only lasts so long. You look up one day and you hate the whiskey and you hate the women and you hate the piano. But that's all you got. You can't do nothing else. All you know how to do is play that piano. Now, who am I? Am I me? Or am I the piano player? Sometimes it seemed like the only thing to do is shoot the piano player, 'cause he the cause of all the trouble I'm having. What are you going to do when your troubles get like mine? If I knew how to play, I'd play it. That's a nice piano. Whoever playing better play quick. Sutter's brother say he waiting on me. I sell them watermelons, the part I done saved. Bernice ain't gonna sell that piano. I don't see why you don't know that. Well, what's she gonna do with it? She ain't doing nothing by letting it sit up there and rot. That piano ain't doing nobody no good. That's a nice piano. If I had it, I'd sell it, unless I knew how to play like Winning Boy. You can get a nice price for that piano. Now I'm going to tell you something. Lyman don't know this, but I'm going to tell you why me and Winning Boy say Bernice ain't going to sell that piano. She ain't got to sell it. I'm going to sell it. Bernice ain't got no more rights to that piano than I do. I'm talking to the man. Let me talk to the man. See now, to understand why we say that, to understand about that piano, you got to go back to slavery time. See, our family was owned by a fellow named Robert Sutter. That was Sutter's grandfather, all right. The piano was owned by a fellow named Joel Nolander. He was one of the Nolander brothers from down in Georgia. It was coming up on Sutter's wedding anniversary, and he was looking to buy his wife, Miss Ophelia was her name. He was looking to buy her an anniversary present. Only thing with him, he ain't had no money. But he had some niggers. So he asked Mr. Nolander to see if maybe he could trade off some of his niggers for that piano. Told him he would give him 1.5 niggers for it. That's the way he told him. Say he could have one full-grown and one half-grown. Mr. Nolander agreed, only he say he had to pick them. He didn't want Sutter to give him just any old nigger. He say he wanted to have the pick of the litter. So Sutter lined up his niggers, and Mr. Nolander looked them over, and out of the whole bunch, he picked my grandmother. Her name was Bernice, same like Bernice. And he picked my daddy, when he wasn't nothing but a little boy 9 years old. They made the trade-off, and Miss Ophelia was so happy with that piano that it got to be just about all she would do was play on that piano. Just got up in the morning, got all dressed up and sit down and play on that piano. All right, time go along, and Miss Ophelia got to missing my grandmother, the way she would cook and clean the house and talk to her and whatnot. And she missed having my daddy around the house to fetch things for her. So she asked to see if maybe she could trade back that piano and get her niggers back. Mr. Nolander said no, said a deal was a deal. Him and Sutter had a big falling out about it, and Miss Ophelia took sick to the bed. Wouldn't get out of the bed in the morning. She just lay there. The doctor said she was wasting away. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D-Train. Play number 5, 7 Guitars, from the 1940s. Set in 1948 about a blues musician's tragic death on the cusp of his breakthrough. The final days telling the story of how and why he died. The 7 guitars of the title are the 7 characters whose straightforward storylines Wilson turns into a beautiful, complex music, a funky, wailing, irresistible Chicago blues. The Legacy of the Demeaned and Defeated, from the play 7 Guitars, pages 86 to 89. Where? Oh, this. When I was a little boy, I learned about Toussaint L'Ouverture in the school. Miss Manning, she say, listen, you little black as sin niggers, you never each and none of you amount to nothing. You grow up to cut the white man cane, and your whole life you never can be nothing, as God is my witness. But I will tell you of a black boy who was a man and made the white man run from he blood in the street. Like that, you know. Then she tell us about Toussaint L'Ouverture. I say I going to be just like that. Everybody say that, you know. I go home, and my daddy, he's sitting there, and he big and black and tired, taking care of the white man's horses. And I say, how come you not like Toussaint L'Ouverture? Why you do nothing? And he kick me with him boot in my mouth. I shut up that day, you know. And then when Marcus Garvey come, he give me back my voice to speak. It was on my father's deathbed, with death standing there. I say to him, Father, I sorry about Toussaint L'Ouverture. Miss Manning say, nobody ever amount to nothing, and I never did again try. Then Marcus Garvey come and say that it was not true, and that she lied, and I forgive you kick me, and I hope as God is with us now, but a short time more, that you forgive me my tongue. It was hard to say these things, but I confess my love for my father, and death standing there say, I already took him a half hour ago. And he cold as a boot, cold as a stone, and hard like iron. I cried a river of tears, but he was too heavy to float on them, so I dragged him with me these years across an ocean. Then my father come to me in a dream, and he say he was sorry he died without forgiving me my tongue, and that he would send Buddy Bolden with some money for me to buy a plantation. Then I got the letter from the white man who come to take me away. So I say, Headley, be smart. Go and see Joe Roberts. We sat and talked man to man. Joe Roberts is a nice man. I told him about Toussaint L'Ouverture and my father, and Joe Roberts smiled, and he say he had something to give me, and he gave me this. He takes out a machete that is wrapped in his burlap apron, crosses over, and sits on his stool. Now Headley ready for the white man when he come to take him away. The lights come up, and Headley sitting on the bench with the machete in his hand. He rocks back and forth, chanting, Ain't no grave can hold my body down. Ain't no grave can hold my body down. Ain't no grave can hold my body down. He begins to walk around the yard in a circle. You think the black man a dog in the dust? You can kick when you want. I am not a dog. You think you can throw a bone and I run after it. You think I fetch for you and wag my tail for you. The black man is not a dog. He is the Lion of Judah. He is the mud God made his image from. Ethiopia shall stretch forth her wings. The black man is not a dog. Oh, I will stir up the dust around me like the eagle stirreth its nest. Like a hurricane, I will come through the house. I will make the roof fall. I will stir up the dust around me to let you know I talk this. He shoves the machete up into the air. Ain't no grave can hold my body down. Oh, the black man is not a dog. You think I come when you call. I wag my tail. Look, I stirreth the nest. I am a hurricane to you. When you look at me, you will see the house falling on your head, its roof and its shutters, and all the windows broken. Ruby enters from the stairs. Headley, what you doing? What you making all that noise for? You think the black man is a dog, that I will crawl to you? I am a man, woman. I am the man to father your children. I offer you a kingdom. What you say, I am a blind man? I cast my pearls before swine? Oh, hush. Hush all that noise now. Be quiet. What's wrong with you? I am not a blind man. I will not crawl for you. I am a warrior. When I am in this dust, my knees buckle from war, not from a woman. I offer you a kingdom. The flesh of my flesh, my 7 generations, and you laugh at me. You laugh at Joe Louis's father. I offer you to be the lily of the valley, to be Queen of Sheba, queen of the black man's kingdom. You think I am a clown. I am the Lion of Judah. Oh, Headley, stop all that. Satan, I will tear your kingdom down. Satan, I will tear your kingdom down. Satan, I will tear your kingdom down. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D-Train, play number 6, Fences, from the 1950s. Set in 1957, a father-son drama about a garbage man and one-time baseball player who clashes with his son over the youngster's dream of playing sports. A drama of dreams denied and how the denial affects the relationship between the two men. The Legacy of the Deferred and Denied, from the play Fences, pages 96 to 98. Mama, I got something to tell you. I don't know how to tell you this, but I've got to tell you. I'm not going to Papa's funeral. Boy, hush your mouth. That's your daddy you talking about. I don't want to hear that kind of talk this morning. I done raised you to come to this. You standing there all healthy and growing up talking about you ain't going to your daddy's funeral. Mama, listen. I don't want to hear it, Corey. You just get that thought out of your head. I can't drag Papa with me everywhere I go. I've got to say no to him. One time in my life, I've got to say no. Don't nobody have to listen to nothing like that. I know you and your daddy ain't seen eye to eye, but I ain't got to listen to that kind of talk this morning. Whatever was between you and your daddy, the time has come to put it aside. Just take it and set it over there on the shelf and forget about it. Disrespecting your daddy ain't gonna make you a man, Corey. You got to find a way to come to that on your own. Not going to your daddy's funeral ain't gonna make you a man. Well, the whole time I was growing up, living in his house, Papa was like a shadow that followed you everywhere. It weighed on you and sunk into your flesh. It would wrap around you and lay there until you couldn't tell which one was you anymore. That shadow digging in your flesh, trying to crawl in, trying to live through you. Everywhere I looked, Troy Maxim was staring back at me, hiding under the bed, in the closet. I'm just saying I've got to find a way to get rid of that shadow, Mama. Oh, you just like him. You got him in you good. Oh, don't tell me that, Mama. You, Troy Maxon, all over again. I don't want to be Troy Maxon. I want to be me. You can't be nobody but who you are, Corey. That shadow wasn't nothing but you growing into yourself. You either got to grow into it or cut it down to fit you. But that's all you got to make life with. That's all you got to measure yourself against, that world out there. Your daddy wanted you to be everything he wasn't. And at the same time, he tried to make you into everything he was. I don't know if he was right or wrong, but I do know he meant to do more good than he meant to do harm. He wasn't always right. Sometimes when he touched, he bruised. And sometimes when he took me in his arms, he cut. Oh, when I first met your daddy, I thought, here is a man I can lay down with and make a baby. That's the first thing I thought when I seen him. I was 30 years old and had done seen my share of men. But when he walked up to me and said, I can dance a waltz that'll make you dizzy, I thought, Rose Lee, here is a man that you can open yourself up to and be filled to bursting. Here is a man that can fill all them empty spaces you've been tipping around the edges of. One of them empty spaces was being somebody's mother. Well, I married your daddy and settled down to cooking his supper and keeping clean sheets on the bed. When your daddy walked through the house, he was so big he filled it up. That was my first mistake, not to make him leave some room for me, for my part in the matter. But at that time I wanted that. I wanted a house that I could sing in, and that's what your daddy gave me. I didn't know to keep up his strength. I had to give up little pieces of mine. I did that. I took on his life as mine and mixed up the pieces so that you couldn't hardly tell which was which anymore. It was my choice. It was my life, and I didn't have to live it like that, but that's what life offered me in the way of being a woman, and I took it. I grabbed hold of it with both hands. And by the time Raynell came into the house, me and your daddy had done lost touch with one another. I didn't want to make my blessing off nobody's misfortune, but I took on Raynell like she was all them babies I had wanted and never had. Like I'd been blessed to relive a part of my life. And if the Lord see fit to keep up my strength, I'm going to do her just like your daddy did you. I'm going to give her the best of what's in me. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D-Train. Play number 7, 2 Trains Running, from the 1960s. Set in 1969 about the lives of regulars who find sanctuary in a restaurant. The displaced and dreamers congregate in this dilapidated Pittsburgh cafe, scheduled for demolition. These people of loud voices and big hearts continue to search, to falter, to persevere, to hope. The legacy of the displaced and dreamer, from the play 2 Trains Running, pages 33 to 35. Hey, Holloway, you know what I just found out? You know who that boy is, that Sterling boy? I was talking to Hendricks. You know, that's the boy that robbed the bank and was out spending the money 10 minutes later. You remember that? Hendricks gave him a job to help him get out, and the boy worked 1 week and quit. See, Hendricks don't know. He don't know like I know. He trying to help him, but that boy don't want to work. He say Hendricks laid him off. But I can't blame him if he did quit. Who want to haul bricks on a construction site for $1.25 an hour? That ain't going to help him. What's he going to do with $10 a day? That'd be 10 more than he got now. His granddaddy used to work for $3 a day. He doing good. I ain't talking about that. Hell, his great-granddaddy used to work for nothing for all that matter. I'm talking about he can make $200 or $300 a day gambling, if he get lucky. If he don't, somebody else will get it. That's all you got around here is niggers with somebody else's money in their pocket. And they don't do nothing but trade it off on each other. I got it today, and you got it tomorrow. Until sooner or later, as sure as the sun shine, somebody gonna take it and give it to the white man. The money go from you to me to you, and then bingo, it's gone. From him to you to me, then bingo, it's gone. You give it to the white man. Pay your rent, pay your telephone, buy your groceries, see the doctor. Bingo, it's gone. Just circulate it around till it find that hole. Then bingo. Like trying to haul sand in a bucket with a hole in it. Time you get where you're going, the bucket empty. That's why that $10 a day ain't going to do him no good. A nigger with $500 in his pocket around here is a big man. But you go out there where they at, you go out to Squirrel Hill. They walking around there with $5,000 in their pocket, trying to figure out how to make it into 500,000. Ain't nothing wrong in saving your money and do like they do. These niggers just don't want to work. That boy don't want to work. He lazy. Oh, people kill me talking about niggers is lazy. Niggers is the most hardworking people in the world. Works 300 years for free. And didn't take no lunch hour. Now, all of a sudden, niggers is lazy, don't know how to work. All of a sudden, when they got to pay niggers, ain't no work for him to do. If it wasn't for you, the white man would be poor. Every little bit he got standing on top of you. That's why he could reach so high. He gave you $3 a day for 6 months, and he got him a railroad for the next 100 years. All you got is 6 months worth of $3 a day. Now you can't even get that. Ain't no money in niggers working. Look out there on the street. If there was some money in it, if the white man could figure out a way to make some money by putting niggers to work, we'd all be working. He ain't building no more railroads. He got them. He ain't building no more highways. Somebody done already stuck the telephone poles in the ground. That's been done already. The white man ain't stacking no more niggers. You know what I'm talking about, stacking niggers, don't you? Well, here's how that go. If you ain't got nothing, you can go out here and get you a nigger. Then you got something, see? You got one nigger. If that one nigger get out there and plant something, get something out the ground, even if it ain't nothing but a bushel of potatoes, then you got one nigger and one bushel of potatoes. Then you take that bushel of potatoes and go get you another nigger. Then you got 2 niggers. Put them to work, and you got 2 niggers and 2 bushels of potatoes. See, now you can go buy 2 more niggers. That's how you stack a nigger on top of a nigger. White folks got to stacking. And I'm talking about they stacked up some niggers. Stacked up close to 50 million niggers. If you stack them on top of one another, well, they make 6 or 7 circles around the moon. It's lucky the boat didn't sink with all them niggers they had stacked up there. It took them 2 extra months to get here because it rides so low in the water. They couldn't find you enough work back then. Now that they got to pay you, they can't find you none. If this was a different time, wouldn't be nobody out there on the street. They'd all be in the cotton fields. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D Train. Play number 8, Jitney, from the 1970s, set in 1977, about the people in an underserved neighborhood in a gypsy cab jitney service that caters to them. Another father-son tale as the owner of the cab company squares off against the offspring newly released from prison. An affecting study of the human spirit, brutally realistic. The legacy of the disowned and disregarded. The play Jitney, pages 64 to 66. Hey, Dob, what's this I hear about the station closing? You just finding out? They fixing to board up the whole block, tear it down and build some houses. Damn! What they want to do that for? I'm glad to see them do it. It's about time they done something around here. They've been talking for years about how they was gonna fix it up. White folks ain't got no sense of timing. They wait till I get in the position to buy me a house, and then they pull the rug out from under me. Huh, that white man ain't paying you no mind. You ought to stop thinking like that. They've been planning to tear these shacks down before you was born. You keep thinking everybody's against you, and you ain't never gonna get nothing. I seen 100 niggers too lazy to get up out of the bed in the morning, talking about the white man is against them. That's just an excuse. You want to make something of your life, then the opportunity is there. You just have to shake off that white folks is against me attitude. Hell, they don't even know you alive. Oh, they knew I was alive when they drafted me and sent me over to Vietnam to be shot at. They knew I was alive then. You ain't the only one they sent. They sent a whole lot of other folks, too. Some of them wasn't lucky enough to make it back alive. You ain't the only one been in the Army. I went into the Army in 1950, looking to make something of myself. That was after the war. I didn't know they was going to pull out a map, stick a pin in it, and say, "Let's go kill some people over here." I wasn't in the Army but 4 months, and they had me in Korea, 2nd Division, Company B, 4th Battalion. It was a detail company. I think at that time the only dead body I had seen was my grandmama when Foster buried her. That's all I knew about a dead body, but I was meant to find out quick. The 3rd day, they put us on some trucks and drove out to the front lines. I was scared as I could get. The last words I remember my mama saying to me was how she was praying I didn't get sent to the front lines. I wasn't in Korea but 3 days, and here I was on the front lines. Got out there, and everything was quiet. The sergeant told us to get down off the trucks. We got down and started walking. Got near about 200 yards when we saw our first body. Then another one. Then 3 more. The sergeant say, "All right, boys, we're going to clean up. I want you to stack the bodies 6 high. I will never forget that. I want you to stack the bodies 6 high. Not 5, not 7, 6 high. And that's what I did for the next 9 months. Clean up the battlefield. It took me 6 months before I got to where I could keep my supper down. After that, it didn't bother me no more. Never did learn how to do nothing else. They was supposed to teach me, but they never did. They just never paid me no mind. There was a whole bunch of us they never paid no mind. Well, what I'm trying to tell you is the white man ain't got no personal war against you 'cause you buying a house and they gonna tear down the block. You too young to be depending on driving jitneys. Is that what you want to do all your life? Nah, but where else am I going to make $50 a day, tax-free? Where else am I going to get the advantage of not paying taxes? How old are you? 24? Why don't you go to school under the GI Bill? Become something. Make something of your life. You can be anything you want. Be a pilot or engineer or something. Like I tell my boys, the world's opened up to you. When I was your age, the only thing you could get a job doing was bussing dishes, running elevators, and cleaning out toilets. Things like that. Well, it ain't like that now. You can be anything you want. You're young. Act kind of crazy, but you got some sense. You don't waste your money. You got sense enough to buy a house. Go on to school, young blood. You too young to be counting on driving jitneys. Take the August Wilson Century Cycle D-Train. Play number 9, King Hedley II. From the 1980s. set in 1985 about an ex-con's attempts to find redemption in a ravaged community. He tries to set his life back on track despite the desperation, despair, and violence that surrounds him, an epic tragedy of the common man and the struggle to retain our sense of community. The Legacy of the Desperate and Despondent, from the play King Hedley II, pages 38 to 40. Your life is my life. That's what you can't see. I'm living for you. That's what I told you when we got married. I love my Tanya. That's what I told the minister. I said, my life is your life. Love got to mean something. If it don't mean that, what do it mean? Everything I do for you. Oh, it seemed like you do it for Nisi. Oh, Nisi gone. That don't mean I got to forget her. I love Nisi. I ain't never gonna love nobody like I love Nisi. I told you that. That doesn't mean I don't love you. Nisi gone, you here. I got to go on with my life. But I ain't gonna forget Nisi. I can't do nothing for Nisi. I can't even pray for her. God turned the other way. He don't want to hear nothing from me. You trying to change the subject. I'm talking about that's my baby. Now you done went down to the place to get an abortion without telling me. You can't just go get rid of it. Why? Look at Natasha. I couldn't give her what she needed. Why I want to go back and do it again? I ain't got nothing else to give. I can't give myself. How am I going to give her? I don't understand what to do, how to be a mother. You either love too much or don't love enough. Don't seem like there's no middle ground. I look up, she's 10 years old, and I'm still trying to figure out life, figure out what happened. Next thing I know, she grown. Talking about she a woman. Just 'cause you can lay down and open your legs to a man don't make you a woman. I tried to tell her that. She's a baby. She don't know nothing about life. What she know? Who taught her? I'm trying to figure it out myself. Time I catch up, it's moved on to something else. I gotta watch her being thrown down a hole. It's going to take her a lifetime to crawl out, and I can't do nothing to help her. I got to stand by and watch her. Why I want to go back through all that? I don't want to have a baby that younger than my grandchild. Who turned the world around like that? What sense that make? I'm 35 years old. Don't seem like there's nothing left. I'm through with babies. I ain't raising no more. Ain't raising no grandkids. I'm looking out for Tanya. I ain't raising no kid to have somebody shoot him, to have his friends shoot him, to have the police shoot him. Why I want to bring another life into this world that don't respect life? I don't want to raise no more babies when you got to fight to keep them alive. You take little Buddy Will's mother up on Bryn Mawr Road. What she got? A heartache that don't never go away. She up there now, sitting down in her living room. She got to sit down because she can't stand up. She's sitting down trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what happened. 1 minute, her house is full of life, and the next minute it's full of death. She was waiting for him to come home, and they bring her a corpse. Say, come down and make the identification. Is this your son? Got a tag on his toe, say, John Doe. They got to put a number on it. John Doe, number 4. She got the dinner on the table. Say, Junior like fried chicken. She got some of that. Say, Junior like string beans. She got some of that. She don't know Junior ain't eatin' no more. He got a pile of clothes she washin' up. She don't know Junior don't need no more clothes. She look in the closet. Junior ain't got no suit. She got to buy him a suit. He can't try it on. She got to guess the size. Somebody come up and tell her, Miss So-and-so, your boy got shot. She know before they say it. Her knees start to get weak. She's shaking her head. She don't want to hear it. Somebody call the police. They come and pick him up off the sidewalk. Dead nigger on Bryn Mawr Road. They got to quit playing cards and come pick him up. They used to take pictures. They don't even take pictures no more. They pull him out of the freezer and she look at him. She don't want to look. They make her look. What to do now? The only thing to do is call the undertaker. The line is busy. She got to call back 5 times. The undertaker got so much business he don't know what to do. He losing sleep. He got to hire 2 more helpers to go with the 2 he already got. He don't even look at the bodies no more. He couldn't tell you what they look like. He only remember the problems he have with them. This one so big and fat, if he fell off the table, it takes 6 men to pick him up. That one ain't got no cheek. That one's eyes won't stay closed. The other one been dead so long, he got maggots coming out of his nose. The family can't pay for that one. The coroner wants to see the other one again. That one's mother won't go home. The other one, oh, I ain't going through that. I ain't having this baby. And I ain't got to explain it to nobody. Take the August Wilson Sensory Cycle D-Train. Play number 10. Radio Golf from the 1990s. Set in 1997 about a businessman's plans to redevelop some property and the potential impact on the residents' lives. For Wilson, this play is about the black middle class and their failure to return the sophistication and expertise and resources they have gained to the communities and the people they belong to. They've forgotten who they are. The legacy of the disillusioned and disenfranchised, from the play Radio Golf, pages 76 to 78. There, now what? Show me your money. Come on, show me your money. I ain't sure you got none. There's mine. Where's yours? I said money. You don't know what money is. When I go to the bank, I need a wheelbarrow. They send me straight to the weighing station. Say they weigh it up now and count it later. You know what you are. It took me a while to figure it out. You a Negro. White people will get confused and call you a nigger. But they don't know like I know. I know the truth of it. I'm a nigger. Negroes are the worst thing in God's creation. Niggers got style. Negroes got blindy-itis. A dog knows it's a dog. A cat knows it's a cat. But a Negro don't know he's a Negro. He thinks he's a white man. It's Negroes like you who hold us back. Who's us? Roosevelt Hicks is not part of any us. It's not my fault if your daddy's in jail, your mama's on drugs, your little sister's pregnant, and the kids don't have any food 'cause the welfare cut off the money. Roosevelt Hicks ain't holding nobody back. Roosevelt Hicks got money. Roosevelt Hicks got a job because Roosevelt Hicks wanted one. Oh, you niggers kill me blaming somebody else for your troubles. Get up off your ass. Quit stealing. Quit using drugs. Go to school. Get a job. Pay your taxes. Oh, I see. You can't do that 'cause Roosevelt Hicks is holding me back. Yeah, you holding me back. You make things hard for me. You go around kissing the white man's ass. Then when they see me, they think I'm supposed to kiss it too. You ever notice how glad they are when they see you coming? Go on downtown and kiss some more ass, 'cause you ain't wanted around here. I'm talking to Mr. Wilkes. You're loitering. You're disrupting a place of business. If you don't leave, I'm calling the police. Sterling goes over to the paint can and opens it. He dips his finger in and then makes a line from his forehead down to his nose. Now look at that. You know what that is? That's a mark. I'm marking myself 'cause I don't want you to misunderstand this. He dips his hand in the paint and marks both sides of his cheeks. See that? He marks his face again. I learned that from Cochise. We on the battlefield now. Each one crazier than the next. I always told myself niggers could be doing a little better than they was doing. I thought it was because they was lazy. But I see now these niggers done let the white man drive them crazy. Now you take this man. He didn't grow up. He's still playing cowboys and Indians. He hasn't stopped to think about how he's going to get that paint off of his face. Now why he do that? Why is he walking around with a can of paint? Oh, we haven't gotten to that part yet. That's the part which proves the equation. Here's a man who's painting a house that is going to be torn down. Now you think about that a minute. They are going to tear down the house, and he declares war on me. He doesn't have enough sense to know who the enemy is. I'm not the enemy. The enemy is right in his mirror. I don't understand. There isn't much I understand anymore. I don't understand you. I stood by and watched you commit suicide. For what? A raggedy-ass house. I don't understand, and you don't have nothing to show for it. The judge threw out the injunction. He ordered the demolition. The bulldozers are up there now. I was granted a temporary injunction. That's the law. The judge dismissed the temporary injunction and ordered the demolition. They can't do that. What about the law? Bulldozers start at 10:15. Oh, this is chaos. Right and wrong don't matter. Hammond, did you really think the judge was going to let that raggedy-ass house stand in the way of a multi-million-dollar redevelopment project that's spearheaded by the city? Common sense would tell you otherwise. No. Common sense say that ain't right. We see it different. No matter what, you always on the edge. If you go to the center, you look up and find everything done shifted, and the center is now the edge. The rules change every day. You got to change with them. After a while, the edge starts to get worn. You don't notice it at first, but you're fraying with it. Oh, no, look. We got a black mayor. We got a black CEO. The head of our department is black. We couldn't possibly be prejudiced. Got 214 people working the department and 2 blacks. But we couldn't possibly be race conscious. Look, we even got a black football coach. You guys can sing. You can run fast. Boy, I love Nat King Cole. I love Michael Jordan. I just love him. We got a black guy works in management. 24 million blacks living in poverty, but it's their fault. Look, we got a black astronaut. Oh, I just love Oprah. How do you guys dance like that? After a while, that center starts to give. They keep making up the rules as you go along. They keep changing the maps. Then you realize you're never going to get to that center. It's all a house of cards, everything resting on a slim edge. Looking back, you can see it all. Wasn't nothing solid about it. Everything was an if and a when and a maybe. Of course, but not really. Yes, but not really. I don't want to live my life like that, Roosevelt. Yeah, I understand. But Hammond, look, I don't know how to say this. I'm buying you out.